one person you should never vote for
Penny Baylor.
is Penny Baylor. They have her as president.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Mom.
The whole thing. Okay, I'm sorry.
This is a hard job up here. Okay, is there any representative from John Conyers in the audience? Or Sherry Duly?
Ain't no state reps here, y'all.
Okay, all right. So we'll move along with our program. Elena Herrada from the elected school board in In-Exile has a few words to speak.
Thank you, and greetings from the school board in exile. How long do I have? 7 minutes. Okay. I was standing in line to ask a question, but I didn't want to be taking up too much time. But the question that I have, thank you. The question that I have also to the panel was, did we talk about the role of the foundations in the destruction of public education? We talk about Skillman specifically. And, you know, now I'm from here forever. I've been on the board for 7 years, and being on the board under emergency manager is a lot like dog years, so I'm going to say I've been on the board for 49 years. So those of us who are on the board, we don't get paid. We used to get paid, I hear tell that there used to be a $30 a meeting stipend. And then, there was a period of time when we got a $30 a month stipend, but we meet about 10 times a month. And that was $130 no matter how many times or for how long you met. When we go to Lansing to provide alternative plans to the Emergency Loan Review Board under the PA 436, for example, when they were selling Southwestern for less than $1 million, even though we needed, and we owe money on it until 2039, we came up with an alternative plan to try to keep it for adult ed. And they told us that as long as it interfered with the mayor's plans, we couldn't bring anything because the mayor had other plans for that building. That building stands empty and stripped right now. There's way too much to tell you if you haven't been involved in the school board battle or if you haven't been witness to it for a long time. I write every night on Facebook. That's the official platform of the Detroit School Board in Exile, because they took us off the website and we have no newsletter, we have no budget. And Robert Bob, would you call him the human palindrome? Remember to put palindrome on the Freedom School curriculum. Robert Bob told the school secretary if she gave us so much as a bottle of water that she would have to answer to him. Yeah, that's it. They did hack our emails. They took us off our website, but I want to tell you something of the last week. I'll give you, 7 years is a long time. We filed one lawsuit after another. The judges are afraid of Snyder. So the judges do not ever go against anything that he did. So we have no relief in court. We have no relief at the ballot box because we did repeal Public Act 4. And now we have a situation where the corporations and philanthropists are basically buying the school board seats. So you can see Penny Baylor get on the board even though she stole money, everything that you can imagine, but there's no coverage of that. So basically the seats are being sold. And the school board members, and I'll speak for the other members in exile, we're not going anywhere. Without whom we wouldn't even still be on our feet. Without Helen, we wouldn't be here at all. When they locked us out of the meetings, when they told us that we couldn't have meetings, like for example, the Detroit Day School for the Deaf was closing, and I was relatively new on the board then, and Helen and I we didn't really know each other that well. We got to the parking lot of the school, and we were told that we couldn't get in, the building was locked. The school board members were locked out of a meeting, and we didn't have any way to communicate that to the deaf parents and students who were already there at the meeting. And Helen turned to me and she said, "You get inside that school and hold that meeting." And it was visions of my grandfather telling me, "Don't come home without that diploma." So I went around to the side outside and I said to the janitor guy at the back door, I said, we're coming in here. And he just looked at me and opened the door. We went around through the front. In the dark and in the cold, we held that meeting. And the Detroit Day School for the Deaf was closed despite our many efforts, and it was one of the heartbreaking things that we've experienced, along with Oakman Orthopedic. Schools where they didn't have anywhere else to go, and they closed those schools. This is what's happening now. And to look at what's happening in Detroit, I'm going to say this. I'm going to really say a few things that really may bother some people. As I represent District 2, the majority Latino community in Detroit, and I got elected in that area, Southwest Detroit. But I want to say that it's been a real awakening to me, and I'm running citywide in this because there's only citywide offices to run for since they got rid of districts. I've been very ashamed of the way the Latino community has dealt with the takeover of these schools, because this is so clearly an attack on Black achievement. The way in which Detroit School for the Arts has been taken away from the talented students and given to people who don't have anything to do with Detroit. We're locked out of that school, and Yolanda Peoples can tell you a lot more about that than I can, but there's the kinds of Davis Aerospace being closed, where we will no longer have students who can graduate and have that pilot's license and a mechanic's license. Now, this week, I had a parent tell me that she needed help to get her daughter to graduate from Bright Hop. She's in the cosmetology program at Bright Hop, and she attends CMA. And she went up there because the principal canceled the students' Voc Tech schedule. So she's a senior, and she's finished. She's almost ready to graduate, and she could get her certificate in Voc Tech. And when she went to fight on behalf of her child, what happened? She got banned from the school, and they call the police when she comes. Now, I want you to remember that and think of the newspaper narrative of that. Skillman says that there are no engaged parents in Detroit. I'll tell you what, if parents are engaged, they call the police on them. They call the police and have them removed. And Skillman controls the Detroit Parent Network. They're controlling who's going to be on this next board. They're controlling where schools are going to be built and where they're going to be closed, where the excellent schools are and where the failing schools are going to be. Skillman is the Trojan horse that we're talking about. I hope that anybody who's watching this sends it out far and wide. Skillman is responsible for the destruction of Black education in Detroit. Thank you. Vote the stand-up slate.